All right, when you set up a canopy, the best way to do it is with 4 people, one for each leg. Sometimes there's not 4 people. If there's only 3 people, just use 2 people. We're gonna show you how to do it with 2 people to start. Dave, you wanna take that side?
Start by.
We're gonna kind of off the ground, we're gonna pull it out this way as much as we can reach.
We're gonna grab underneath and
Then we're gonna grab, not the legs, but the underneath part like this. And we'll get it out as far as we can. Sometimes these parts will fall off of here depending on if it has straps that hold it in place or not. We try to do that, but it's a little windy today, so they might not stay at first. I've got my cord that held everything together. I'm just gonna hang it on one of the corners because we'll use that to bungee it to the next tent at some point.
Now I guess one of the main things is when we're doing this part, we're both working from the same side. We're not working from opposite corners. And we're doing that because what we don't want to do is bend the legs. It might survive, but it puts stress on it and will damage it over time. So we're gonna go ahead and bring this up.
And when we're pulling these, when we're pulling the leg down, we're pushing this up, but I'm also pulling away from Dave because if I don't pull away from Dave, it doesn't allow these things to expand all the way and you're just fighting it. Now that we've got this, we can then pull this down, make sure this is over this. Now we can go to the other side. I'm just gonna repeat the process as I go across here. I'm pulling this down so it doesn't get pinched in the
And I'm over here and ready, but I'm waiting for Jimmy so that we can do it at the same time, because if I start doing it, it won't turn out quite right or we'll put extra stress on it. So we're both gonna lift at the same time and then we're both gonna snap it in. Pull this down.
double check that.
We're good.
And notice we didn't extend any legs yet. We're doing that last, and we're gonna extend the legs at the same time. This side first, and then we'll go to the other side.
And if we needed to move the canopy, now is the easiest time to move it, before you put the legs up.
We'll go ahead and show how we move a canopy with just 2 people.
Going to that side?
You go to the
Same
middle.
spots where we were lifting before, we can just lift, and then we can
I'm
move
the
it one way
shortest
or
crew
another.
member you're ever gonna see. I can do this as long as you don't have the legs extended yet.
But you want to make sure that you have 2 people, because if the end wasn't up, if this end wasn't off the ground and we pulled, we start bending that leg. So that's where we want to make sure it's completely up. We can move it around, and then we can set it down. Now we can extend our legs.
Which way are you going, Dave?
Let's go over here.
All right.
So we're both going to work from the same side. We're both going to coordinate, and we're going to lift it at the same time. There we go.
Go to the other side.
Now we just brought it up to the first one. We didn't bring it all the way up
You
yet.
go up too far, then it really puts pressure on this one again.
Yep. So now we're going to do this one. And the other thing I did was I lifted this up before I'm going to pull this down a little bit. What you don't want to do is have it bent and then pull it down. We're going to snap this one into place.
And since we're still here, we're gonna go up higher anyway. We're gonna click it one more.
Yep.
And you'll know when you're doing these, you're gonna be lining up with the second canopy. You'll have to figure out what height it is, but we'll go back over here and make it the same as that side.
There we go.
And then the other thing that we don't have with us that we're not going to show you, but you'll see when you're setting up all the canopies, is we will have some skinny canopy specific tent stakes that'll go through the holes in the feet. Someone will drive those in once it's set in its place. And then we'll also, once we have everything set up on the corners of the entire canopy layout, we'll have some green straps that'll then be anchored in with a corkscrew type ground stake. And then we also, like I said earlier, we've got these bungee cords. We've got a bunch of these red bungee cords that are about 10 inches long. Those will be used to then bungee the connecting canopies together.
Now, the difference if we were doing 4 people on it would be that we each take a corner. Instead of us just doing 2 and then 2, we would each take a corner. But the most important thing when we're doing that is if you have 4 people, everybody should be doing this part, lifting it up off the ground, snapping this at the same time. And then after that, once everybody's got that part, then everybody should be lifting the legs at the same time. If one person starts and the other 3 aren't doing it, it's gonna make it tilted. Same thing on this scenario, or if just people on the ends are doing it. So you wanna make sure when you are working 2 or 4 people together that you're coordinating and you're doing that stuff at the same time. Puts less pressure and stress because every event will have some of these that end up breaking, and it's because of some of that stress and pressure that has that happen.
And just to recap, you're only setting up a canopy if you have one partner or 3 partners. If you only have yourself, don't try it. If there's 3 of you, send the other person off to work with somebody else, 2 or 4.
Cool. And we'll
That's
do
it.
another video on just taking it down, which is going to be the opposite process or the reverse, and it's going to be the same scenario, working 2 or 4 and coordinating.
Okay.